Thomas, back, Thomas! Thomas.
He's good at it too.
When I first started the school, I was getting teased a lot because I blinked. And then, from then on, I never used to want to go to school. I just, because of getting teased. Fuck! And, so my mum just let me stay off and then phoned the school and explained that I was getting teased, and the school would say, right, they'd look into it. And then I'd go the next day and it'd be the same thing, and I'd end up walking out to school. For instance, in the college, and I'm walking through the college, when I first started going to college, I was making noises. People just look at me and give me a funny look. Then about a week later, they used to always come after me and shout things and that. And I knew instantly, as soon as I'd start speaking to them, they'd just laugh or say, oh, you know, don't believe you. There was a teacher that just didn't want to accept it as well in the college. He was explained, and he told them at the time that he'd understand and that, but a couple of weeks in the classroom, he just threw me out. You know, he just couldn't cope. He kept saying that I was just disrupting the classroom, and I wasn't able to be in the classroom because of it, and just nasty things like that. He said a couple of times to the boys, if I went to the toilet, he said to the other boys, I hope he doesn't come back, and things like that. It's just really nasty.
A couple of teachers were very bad to John. You know, one teacher in particular pulled John out in front of the class and said that he was mental, that he ought to be locked up. Another teacher locked him in a cupboard because he was disrupting the class.
Today, John attends special lessons at a local college. But some things never get any easier. There are few who would regard this relaxing midday break as threatening. It's a time for friendly conversation, for meeting people from other classes, eating and drinking. All of us take social rituals like this for granted. Listening while others talk, we eat our food in an ordered way. But for John, none of this is possible.
Sometimes I just feel like everyone hates you. Just because I've got this, I just feel like everyone hates you. And
the pressure is enormous. If you feel hated, nowhere feels friendly. Unlike the quiet calm of the empty classroom or riverbank, the whispering silence of the local library is an impossible challenge.
Fuck off! Hey! Oh, God. Fuck off! Hey! Hey! Fuck off!
Tourette syndrome is one of several baffling neurological disorders that radically alter what we call normal behavior. For one man, such afflictions are so fascinating, he's turned stories about them into best-selling books. Neurologist Dr. Oliver Sacks.
The range of symptoms is enormous and extraordinary. Things were put together about a century ago by a French neurologist, by Gilles de la Tourette, who saw these sudden violent movements and noises, and also sometimes sudden extraordinary perceptions and ideas and convulsions of the imagination and the emotions as forming a sort of syndrome of body and mind, as being a sort of possession with an organic basis, which usually would appear in childhood. It might get better after adolescence, but tended to last all through the person's life. He also commented on a tendency to suggestibility, to imitation, to echoing, and to the sudden exclamation sometimes of obscene or profane words.
Oh man. Fucking it. Can't.
It may be that medication would help him to some extent. I get the feeling that if he's overloaded with medication, he feels half dead, and that's not good. Perhaps there's some level of medication which will help him. But the most important thing is that he come to terms with it, and especially that other people come to terms with it.
Coming to terms with such a publicly humiliating form of Tourette's is not easy. Soon John will need a job. Again, not easy for someone who's likely to swear at his boss. It's 9 o'clock on a frosty morning, and John's class arrives at the college horticulture centre.
Are you ready, Kobe? Back off. Are you ready?
It's part of special vocational training for slow learners. Because of his trouble at school, John fell behind in his studies and now attends these special classes. But John is keen, bright and quick to learn. Ironically, this has put him at the top of his class.
We'll be in the glass house and we'll be in the workshop.
We'll take care of it.
You're painting again, John, I see you.
Yeah?
You're painting again.
I'm afraid so.
Delicate pink.
That was Kobe, wasn't it? Painting.
Aye, you don't. Not painting. Aye.
We all ready then?
With Kobe.
The plant must be in the centre. Right, must be in the centre.
Alistair Fraser, John's teacher, ignores the bad language and instead uses his enthusiasm to motivate the other students.
If your plant's not in the middle, don't give it a yank up, because what will happen is it'll break the roots and the plant will just die. That's
Look at that!
It's getting worse. Who done that one?
David! Fucking idiot. Prick!
You get yourselves into a right guddle here.
Shit! Oh, you cunt.
That's a bit shallow, that, isn't it? It's not even in the middle. I think some of you boys are cross-eyed.
Hey, cunt!
What do you mean?
Babes, you fat cunt! Hey, big nose!
Put them right in the middle, have you?
Alistair,
Mate, go big nose!
Yes.
see when you're changing.
At 16, John is at the crossroads of his life.
That's good. Getting better, eh?
Not only does he carry the burden of Tourette's, but he's changing from boy to man, from classmate to worker.
Not looking very happy there.
To John, these horticulture classes offer a rare chance to learn a skill.
Okay, lads.
But the jinx of Tourette's mocks his efforts.
Fuck off!
What do we call these plants?
Spider plant.
Spider plants. Eh? Remember, a couple of weeks back, we took off the offsets
Recently, John has started spitting at people.
and put them in these pots. You can see they're nicely grown away. So we'll take out someone's plant and see how it's doing.
That one?
Yeah. How'd you?
Fuck's sake.
We
Cunt!
don't know who that one is.
That's
Who are-
Kobe's.
Kobe's. There you are then. Let's see how it's doing. Well, you can tell because it's
Fucking cunt!
reasonably firm in the pot there. Knock it out. Well, there's no evidence.
It needs to be said, incidentally, that Tourette's is not a progressive disease, and people with mild tics will never move into the sort of yelling and cursing which John shows.
Did you want the compost all the way around? But it seems to be surviving there. So another way of
Then, quite suddenly, John's curses are focused again.
these trays here.
Here, he reacts to his teacher's error by calling him an effing idiot.